going, people? Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to Box to Box. Hope you're all good and well out there, people. Listen, love for the love. That 12-hour fundraiser that we did exceeded the expectations. So I want to say a big thank you again. That link is still up there for a couple more days. So, you know, if you can donate, please donate. If you can't, share the link. And, you know, just want to say a big shout out to everyone that took part in that. Throughout Wednesday. I was about to say Wednesday night, but it was throughout Wednesday from 12 till 12. As you can see, I've got Lee Chappie in the building, so that can only mean we've got Leicester this weekend. It's Leicester away, the second part to our fixtures this season. Obviously, we came off the back of a 4-2 win at the Emirates Stadium, a win that at times it looked like Leicester was getting back into it. 2-0, 2-1, a couple of minutes later, Arsenal bagged the third, 3-2, a minute later, Arsenal bagged the fourth. So you know, that fight back was kind of dampened by the immediate responses from Arsenal. But Leicester, Lee Chappie, first and foremost, how you been feeling?
First of all, good work, keep it up. I know I'm watching your stuff. Look, I'm still a bit ticked off, I'm not gonna lie. 25 minutes against Man United at Old Trafford, we looked great. I thought we were really giving it some. I thought we were going to get something out of it at first, and then there was a dirty challenge by Sabitzer. It looked like a red card. I'm assuming was a red card, right?
Yeah.
Well, the United fans seem to disagree, but I thought it was straight off. But there you go. It didn't happen. Not even a card. So I was fuming. Then they score and we lose our heads. You know. That's it. The game was just done after that, really. They just couldn't stop them. But yeah, I'm still ticked off about that, to be honest with you.
Well, not only was it a red card in my opinion, but then in the second half, Mendy had what I wouldn't even call a challenge, and he got a yellow card for it.
I posted it on my Twitter. I'm sure people have seen it. I posted it. Fair challenges, 2 fair challenges, and he gets balked. Robbery, mate. But that's what happens at Old Trafford, isn't it?
Yeah. We know better than some as well. But listen, you know, the standards of refereeing, as you saw with Lee Mason recently, there needs to be a real shake-up in there come this summer. I think they really need to take a look at themselves, the FA, the Premier League. They need to do something about it because it's become so consistent now. You know, we're expecting mistakes now. We can't expect the referee to officiate a game properly anymore. So hopefully something does get done about that. Hopefully there's no refereeing VAR issues this weekend.
Done.
But yeah, I wouldn't hold my breath. I wouldn't hold my breath about it.
Yeah.
But that United loss came off the back of 2 wins where it looked like Leicester seemed to be turning the corner. A big 4-2 win against Aston Villa. We're coming off a 4-2 win against Aston Villa. A 4-1 win against Tottenham. We loved that. Thank you very much. And then against Man United, the first half, you know, I actually think Leicester should have been up. The first half was like chalk and cheese in comparison to the second.
Yeah, David De Gea kept them in it really in the first half for me. We should have put them chances away. And at the end of the day in the Premier League, you don't put chances away. This is what happens. You can have 15 chances and not score, and the other team can have 1, and the 1 goes in, and it's game over. It's just the way it is. We did look good coming up against Villa and Spurs. I got to say, I think it's due to the fact that we've actually had some money invested into the club and actually bought a couple of players. I think that's what we really needed. A restructure, so to speak, and some competition as well. Like Harvey Barnes was going off the pace on the left side, and no real competition at the winger sort of position for our team was nothing. So now he's got this Brazilian in Tete on the right, and it's really opening things up for Maddison. He's now got options left and right, and you can see the way that we attack. It's fluid, and we are creating more chances. So hats off to again the backroom staff for bringing in Tete. Hopefully we can maybe sign him permanently and not let this one slip.
Yeah,
because we've let a few go and they've done really well abroad, mentioning no names. But it's good.
He's looking like a good signing. If there's, we're going to go into key battles and players to watch out for. But since you've mentioned him, that's one player I'm definitely looking out for, because on our left-hand side, you probably know already how much work Zinchenko does in the middle of the park and what's required of him. He's not a traditional left-back by any means. So there has been space on that on Arsenal's left-hand side for clubs to kind of attack it and get their teeth into. And Tete's been doing his thing on that side. So hopefully, he doesn't on Saturday, but he's definitely one to look out for. Lee, talk to me about Leicester, because we do this twice a year, every season. It just seems like a gradual fall off. I mean, last season I believe Leicester finished 8th, but now you're sitting in 14th, if I'm not mistaken, -5 goal difference. Is this the Vardy transition? Can I call it that, or is it bigger than that?
I think there's a bit of both going on. First of all, Vardy, I mean, come on. He started late in his career in the Premier League. Yeah. Imagine if he'd have actually started at a younger age in the Premier League, and how many goals he would have been at, and what team he might have been playing for even. The man's a legend. Got someone in. But I think we just needed some players. I really do. Again, it's just down to money. Look at the teams that come in, like Nottingham Forest. Look at the amount of money they've spent. They're not our main rivals, but I'd say they're probably our main rivals at the minute in the Premier League, and they are outspending us. It's like, what's going on? We weren't sure what was going on behind the scenes. Through COVID, I think I've already had this conversation before. Through COVID, our branding is King Power. It's all to do with duty free and travel. That wasn't happening. So how much money were we losing? What was going on? But then our owner, Vishai's son, has invested 200 million into the club to relieve debts. So I'm seeing positive signs now that we're back on course. That's what I am looking at. Is the future. We've got this training facility now. We've got debt, cleared. We've got a couple of new players as well. Harry Souttar looks class. Had Harry Kane in his back pocket. Looking a bit stronger.
Yeah. Well. Listen. Off the back of that, Leicester Premier League title win, I look fondly on Leicester. Obviously, it hasn't helped that when Arsenal dropped off in the league, that Leicester was still doing their thing above us for a few seasons. But you know what? You have a lot of quality players in your ranks, and and there's a couple there coming to the end of their contracts, if I'm not mistaken. The big one being Youri Tielemans.
Yeah, that's what I was going to move on to. Was we've got to secure some of these players. James Maddison needs an extension in his contract because someone's going to snap him up as well. Youri Tielemans come on, we all know that's been going on for quite some time, talking about the Arsenal move. And to be fair to him, respectful to him, he's going to run out his contract. You can look at that in two ways. You can look at that and go, well, sod him. He's running it out. Sod him. He's not interested in staying. Or you could look at it a different way. He's running out, so it's not going to cost us anything later on, blah, 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 blah. He's done what he needed to do. He's won a trophy with Leicester. He's always going to be almost like a club legend for that goal against Chelsea in the FA Cup final. Yeah. I think we can move on, though, from Youri Tielemans. I'm not dissing him or anything. I do think we can move on from Youri Tielemans.
Well, let's talk about Tielemans a bit, because Arsenal have been heavily linked. I'm not too sure if any bids have been made over the last 2 transfer windows, but he is going to be a free agent this summer. Yeah. Arsenal are looking into the position he plays as a position to add in this summer. His name's kind of got further away from the rumour mill, if I'm honest with you, but a lot of people outside looking in tend to think he's fallen off over the last couple of years at Leicester, and he hasn't replicated his early years. How do you see his...
He's always been that sort of player, even when he came in, he seemed a little bit, I'm not going to say lazy, but it don't seem to track back enough for me. Obviously, he's not a CDM, but I don't know, he always seems gassed. He always seems knackered. Yeah. If you check any photos of him, after sort of like 60 minutes, he's red-faced, cheeks are puffing. He always looks knackered. I don't know if he's got some sort of energy problem or what. I have no idea. But I think, with powerful players around him, like Thomas Partey would be class with Youri Tielemans. I think that would work for you guys, definitely. It would add so much squad depth to you as well, because he can shoot from anywhere, and, he does score goals. Most of his goals are outside the area. So I think he could offer something for you guys. And you do need that squad depth, because European football next season is definitely going to be a thing again for you guys, no doubt about it. And we won't talk about the Premier League win or not this season. We don't know if that's going to happen or not. But the way that you're playing, the results are going your way as well. It's not just about you guys playing so well. You grind out results even when you don't look like you're going to get anything. You turned Aston Villa around. Yeah. They find their way through. I thought Ben White made a little error where he got dummied from was it Buendia that done that dummy and then lays it off to Coutinho. So you do look like you could be opened up, but it's not about being opened up. It's about scoring goals. You got 4 goals against Villa. I think Man City again dropping points again. Forest. I don't know what the fixture list's like with all of them, but I think Arsenal are going to win it. I do think Arsenal win the title. Yeah.
Listen, that's going to go down.
I do think you will.
That's going to go down well.
I do think you will.
I really hope we do, Lee. I really hope. 19 years I've been waiting to see that again.
Well, the thing is, look, it would make the league a little bit more interesting if it wasn't just Man City running through everyone all the time, to be honest with you. And you know what? They don't look as dominant with Haaland on the pitch. I know he's got a goal-scoring machine, but you know what? In possession, they don't look as dominant as they used to.
Yeah, I agree with that.
And you guys look far more dominant in possession.
Yeah. I agree with that. I think I was talking to Cecil after the game against Aston Villa, and he does body doubling for Ollie Watkins as well. And he asked Ollie Watkins about the difference playing Manchester City this season and Arsenal, and Watkins said, Man City will pass you to death, side to side. They'll wait for their chances, they'll hold the ball, whereas Arsenal are a bit more precise and direct with their movement and pose a different threat and a threat that this season has put us top of the league. And for the majority, we have been the best team in the league. Obviously, in recent games, when you look at our recent form, we've only won 3 out of the last 6, and if you compare that to the first half of the season, it's not as good. But every club has a dip in form. Every club has a bad patch. Every club needs to ride one of these waves in a season and come at the back end. And hopefully, we are at the back end after that Aston Villa win, because we was made to fight hard for it.
Yeah,
a lot of luck.
Signs of champions, mate. Signs of champions. Even when you don't look great, you grind out wins. Signs of champions.
If I'm not mistaken, when we beat you in your title-winning season, was that the last game you lost?
I believe so.
Yeah, you bounced back and then you picked yourselves up and
you guys got a little bit too cocky when you beat us down at the Emirates with that. I think it was it
Danny Welbeck
header, wasn't it? Yeah. And we were still, after that game, our Reds didn't drop in, we just carried on. Mad season that, but I don't want to keep reflecting on that because that was a long time ago. That was like 6-7 years ago.
Listen, it's been longer that we haven't won the league, so
I know. But you know what? Under Brendan Rodgers, a lot of fans were like, Brendan out, and I lost my head at one point, just because he buried some of the players' names and buried the fans as well at one point, but I think he was frustrated as much as we were that we weren't getting money spent on signings. But if you take out that Premier League winning season out of the equation, this is the most successful run we've had as a club. Top 5 finishes, European football as well, back-to-back seasons. So I'm kind of happy where we are at the minute, let's be honest.
Yeah, well, I was going to ask you about Brendan Rodgers as well. You mentioned James Maddison actually, and listen, you know about our star boy, Bukayo Saka, 9 goals, 8 assists so far this season. But when I was looking at your top performers in front of goal, Maddison's got 9 goals and 5 assists, so he's very much up there as well. And you talked about renewing a contract. How long has he got left on his?
I think it's something like 14 months or something. I'd have to check. Off the top of my head, it's not longer than 18 months. No way. Yeah. And it's going to cost a lot of money, though, either way. Whoever comes in for him, it's going to cost a fair bit of money.
Yeah, whether you renew the contract, it's going to have to be a big contract, or whether you have to replace him, it's going to be a big signing. So either way, money has to be spent. So Brendan Rodgers, you seem to be happy. There's no point in me asking about him. Obviously, every manager, has to be back during tough times as well, if they've produced for you, especially. But
he's just a bit inconsistent with some of his subs. Sometimes, he'll go like 5 at the back at home, like, and you're winning 2-0. Like, why are you doing that for? It just there's sometimes it's like you scratch your head going, why are you not taking, like, I've just mentioned a random name like Nacho off. He's been bobbed for 40 minutes. Why are you not changing it? It's things like that. But all managers have their own way, don't they?
Yeah, that's true. And I was about to say, but Arteta, who's also a manager that's had to ride a few bad waves at Arsenal Football Club to get where we're at now. What's your opinion of him now? It's been a while since we've talked. We're top of the league still. We've kind of come out of nowhere this season. He is a
character. He's a character, and you need characters in the Premier League, don't you? You need characters on that sideline because, God, our last manager that I loved to bits, obviously Claudio Ranieri, he was one hell of a character in these conferences, and I think it just brings a little bit of character to your team. A bit of personality, a bit of bit of spirit and stuff. It's good to see. I was actually on an AFTV video probably 2.5 years ago when he first came in, and they weren't doing so well. You'll have to check backwards in the archives. So I was outside the King Power. I think we beat you about 3-0 at home. But I was like, stick with him. Trust me, just stick with him. Stay loyal to a manager. Don't do a Chelsea. Don't just kicking ones out, getting new ones in. You've got to build a foundation, and you looks like you have. It looks like you have. Off the back of an FA Cup win, by the way, in his first season, was it?
Yeah, his first half season. Yeah, he picked us up in November and then won the FA Cup by the end of it. So, that was a very good start from him. A trophy in the cabinet and some pressure relieved in a sense, but he's had to ride some horrid waves during from then till now. Looking at our head-to-head record in the league, it's been favourable to Arsenal. Last 6 games, you've managed to pull out 1 win. Arsenal's got 4. I mean, 1 win for you, 4 wins for Arsenal, and there's a draw in there as well. I think
you're on to a is it 5-win away here? I think back to back, is it? First time since 1930 something. If you do win.
Oh yeah, last time, we beat you 2-0 away last time we played at the King Power.
I'd take a draw, man. At this point, I would dance for a draw. I'm telling you.
Does that reflect your confidence going into the game then?
Well, I was confident against United. I'm not going to lie. Coming out of Spurs 4-1 and smashing Villa apart, I thought, we'll go in Old Trafford quite confident, and we did start confident. I think refereeing destroyed that game for us personally. Don't get me wrong, United were the better side in the second half, but there wouldn't have been the better side in that half if Sabitzer was sent off for that red. So that game's completely different if that decision's made. I'm going on how we started, and if we can play like that and carry on playing the way we did against Spurs and Villa, there's no reason why we can't give you a good game. Yeah, I don't think we're going to lay down and roll over for you. But I'm not confident we'll be able to get the 3 points. I'm not confident in that.
Who's going to start up top for you? Do you know off the top? Or?
That's a tricky one because obviously Nacho's earned it with his assists and his goals he's been getting. And I don't think Daka's the one. I genuinely don't think that's happening now. I think there's been links for him going out to like Galatasaray and all sorts of different places. And Vardy loves playing against Arsenal. He's got a good goal-scoring record, but it just don't seem like the Jamie Vardy that obviously we all know and hate or love, depending on who you are. But as a player, he's not. It don't seem like the same player as he was. So probably Nacho.
Well, he has been in good form recently. Looking at Arsenal sidely, who's the biggest threat for you? Who do you think you have to stop in order to get something out of the game?
I mean, obviously the links with Maddison a couple of years ago, you were bringing him in and all these rumours about bringing Maddison in, and then you didn't sign him and you signed this guy called Odegaard, and he's just a flipping fantastic footballer, isn't he? He's just got an eye for a pass. He can create space from nothing. It's him in the middle. If we can contain him, maybe we'll have a chance. It's him. He's the man.
Is Mendy going to be put with that job, or?
I reckon so, because Ndidi's struggling for fitness, as usual. What is it with CDMs? Like Kante's, your Ndidis, your Partey's. What is it? Is it the work rate that we all expect from them, that it does too much and gives them, I don't know. Could
play a part. You make a good point. I mean, they're the engine room of the starting 11, so that could play a part. And Ndidi's been a quality player for you over the years as well.
Yeah, but he's just not obviously fit enough, I don't think, to do a full 90. So it probably will be Mendy, who scored a rocket. Don't get me wrong, but first goal as well. But it's a bit worrying in the middle. I'm not going to lie.
So you need to nullify Odegaard, and let's say on your side, it would in the attacking front, would it be Tete the one to look out for?
I think it's going to be obviously the Brazilian man on the right. Tete.
Harvey Barnes seems to be getting back to some.
He's stepped up since Tete's come in. I think there was too much expectations on that left side. Everything had to go through Harvey Barnes. Everything, and obviously when a player's doing far more, you see far more that's going wrong.
Yeah.
So I think given the chance that now it's more balanced out, I think you're going to see a bit of a better Harvey Barnes. But I think it will be Barnes left, Tete right. It'll probably almost unchanged, to be fair. Against United, it'll be Nacho up top, Maddison in the middle, Mendy, and probably KDH, Dewsbury Hall, one of Leicester's own. Back four of Christensen, who's come in and looked absolutely brilliant as well from Copenhagen down that left side, which is also gave Harvey Barnes a nudge, because I don't think it was working with Luke Thomas behind him. It's not strong enough for me, but Christensen looks absolutely fire down that left side. Returning Ricardo Pereira as well, thankfully, finally back.
Forgotten man.
Yeah, well, ACLs and then more injuries afterwards. Fingers crossed that his career gets back on track. It's tough to get back in it after an ACL. Some players' careers are ruined. What a player. I mean, he would have been in any Premier League side. He would have fit in.
He was up there with the very best. I mean, I remember one season, so that's been unfortunate for him. And I've already mentioned my key battle. I'm looking at Tete on that on Leicester's right hand side, and the space that's available on our left hand side. And I just think, that's somewhere we've got to watch out for, because I assume we're going to dominate possession and we're going to, have the ball the majority of the time. But especially on the counter, when those spaces are available to be picked up, I need not one of us. I need the team to be very aware of his attributes. And he's a pacey player. He's good on the ball, and he's got an eye for goal as well. So.
Who's going down left then for you then? Who will be going left? Would it be Zinchenko, or would you go... is it Tierney? He's still there, isn't he? So
Tierney's still here.
What's happening with Tierney, though? Is he getting...
There has been question marks over Tierney's happiness at the club, but very loose rumours that he might reconsider his future in the summer. I don't look too much into that, because we'll have Champions League football back, and the necessary rotation next season should give him more games. We've got Europa League coming back in a couple of weeks as well, so I expect him to be starting a lot of the Europa League games as well, and we have a big chance of winning that competition too. So it all depends on how these final few months pan out, in my opinion, with Kieran. And over the last few weeks, there's been question marks over Zinchenko's performances as well, until he got that goal against...
until he got that goal. It was a mad goal.
Yeah, which not only was a mad goal and not only brought us back into the game, but, him running straight back to the middle showed his mentality. And that's something that in seasons finishing 8th and 5th and missing out on Champions League football and bottling it from top 4, that's a mentality that Arsenal have missed as well. It's not just quality that we've missed, it's also that mentality to want
winning
to win.
Mentality.
Exactly. So Zinchenko brings a lot more than just an inverted fullback. He brings that leadership and mentality too. But at the same time, Xhaka hasn't been the same player since Jesus has been injured. He hasn't been I wouldn't say he hasn't been timing his runs into the box as effectively as before. He just hasn't had the opportunities to get into the box, because Nketiah is a completely different striker to Jesus. He doesn't really leave the spaces open for the midfielder to come into it. So, I'd be shocked if Arteta does change it up, but a lot of fans, including myself, would be interested in seeing Zinchenko in that number 8 position. Kieran Tierney slotting in at left back. But I assume we're going to go with Zinchenko, going to overload the midfield when he steps in. So that's probably going to be the lineup, if I'm honest with you. I don't really see much change. It'll be interesting to see what he does with Ben White and Tomiyasu. I expect Ben White to start that game. But I think Arsenal's lineup pretty much all season, bar any injuries, has picked itself. Thomas Partey, let's see if he returns. If he doesn't, then Jorginho will be in there. But Lee, let's move it on to the predictions. And as the home team, I'm going to hand it over to you first to give us your prediction. Usually full of life, full of confidence, but it just seems very different this season.
Yeah, it's been a slow start to the season. Obviously, we've only just got back into it really since the World Cup as well. Struggled like hell to get out of the gate, so to speak, when the World Cup finished. I think we'll lose. I think we'll get one, but I think it'll be a 3-1 to you boys. I don't know. Maybe we'll get a good go, but I just don't feel like we've got enough to turn you guys over. I think you're on a roll.
3-1. That's actually my prediction from Forever Arsenal, which is a podcast I do with Lee, Jordan and James. We did that yesterday during the 12-hour live stream, and I predicted 3-1 Arsenal. You've predicted 3-1 Arsenal.
I'm just being honest. Yeah, I'm just being honest. I'm not going to sit here and go, we're going to batter you 4-0, because it's just going to...
You always are honest. You always are. We know when you're confident and we know when you're not. And I get it. I understand why. I mean, it's been very inconsistent this season from Leicester, understandably so. but I'm going to stick with my 3-1. I think there's definitely goals in the game. I'd love nothing more than a clean sheet for Arsenal, because that's something we've lacked in recent games, and that's something we built our success on in the first half of the season, I believe. Defensively solid and getting clean sheets away from home, especially. Our clean sheet record away from home is better than the one we have at the Emirates Stadium. So I'd love to get a clean sheet back, but I do know Leicester pose enough threat to be able to cause problems and create chances with Barnes and Tete alone, and Iheanacho on his day. You know, if you look at him against Tottenham, that a great finish there at the end of the first half.
Nacho's a nightmare to defend against.
Yeah.
He's not the most skillful or technical player. He's got something about him. I don't know. It's like. Do you remember when you played at school and that one lad, the ball just stuck to his feet? No matter how many challenges come in, it just stayed. That's the type of player he is. He's a nightmare to defend against, and he can just create things from nothing. I'd take a draw though. I tell you now, I really would.
Yeah,
I would take a draw in a heartbeat.
To be honest, where we're at right now with Man City breathing down our necks, I don't think we can afford to be dropping any more points, if I'm honest with you. And you know, we have an opportunity to go 5 points clear of Man City, because we actually play yet again before Man City this game week, so we can put more pressure on their necks.
Right.
So hopefully we get the 3 points. Lee, let them know where they can find you. I'm going to tag your channel in the title anyway, but just talk to them.
Yeah, I'm on socials. I'm doing quite well, actually. I've got 25k on TikTok now. Twitter, I'm on everything. Lee_Chappie, easy to find. YouTube, smashing up towards 17k, I think we are nearly. So come and find me.
Nice. There you go, people. Lee_Chappie, the socials, and then I'm going to tag Lee's channel in the title as well. Lee, as always, it's a pleasure talking to you, my man. You know, I'm not going to say good luck.
Always, Circus.
I'm not going to say good luck, but we'll speak soon. I'm sure I'll get a chance to see you on Saturday, hopefully.
I'm sure, mate. I'm sure. Good luck-ish.
Good luck-ish. Listen, people, make sure you show some support to Lee. Channel there, socials are there in the description as well. And leave us your thoughts in the comment section below. Lineups, predictions, key battles, Leicester's biggest threat. Let us know in the comment section below. I'll go through the comments as always, and I'll reply to a few of them. Love for the love, people. Hit the like button on the way out. And just a reminder, if you can donate, the link is still active, people. Peace. We're out.